As a lot of you know, one of my favorite UFC fighters and celebrities in general is one of the greatest fighters of all time. I would say the greatest fighter of all time, Conor McGregor. He's a fellow Irishman, just like me, and he's someone who started from like nothing and was able to rise up to the top. Started in crumbling Dublin in a shitty gym in a shitty part of town and rose up to become worth like 500 million pounds right now. I think his rise to success is very inspirational to everyone, and also his fall is very, I'm not going to say relatable because it's not, but you can see why it happened. There's like a poor kid who finally got money, finally got influence, finally became successful, and then all the money, all the power, all the fame, the success, it all went to his head, and his ego increased almost as much as his bank account. And as his ego went up, his fighting went down. Of course, as he aged as well, that would also play a part in it. But Connor really wants to get back into UFC. It's like after the loss to Khabib and loss to Floyd, it's like he took a hiatus from UFC, got back in the ring, got back in the octagon, and absolutely sparked out Cowboy in an amazing fight. And now he's come up against Diamond Poirier, and you can't seem to beat him. He beat him a few years ago, an amazing first round knockout, but can't seem to do it against a new Poirier. So if he really is going to have any chance of beating him, he can't train like he's been training. Like he can't train for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and then go home to his multi-million-dollar mansion, drive his Lamborghini home to his loving family. Men only grow when they're uncomfortable. Like when you're in a comfort zone, you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna become the best. You don't have any like strive. You don't have any desire. You don't have that necessity to become successful. It's like I was watching Undercover Billionaire with Grant Cardone, where basically they take all his money, all his contacts, all his family, they move him to a random city. They give him $100, and he has to rebuild his entire empire. He has to rebuild his empire from using just $100, no contacts, no friends, no nothing, and bring it up to $100 million company within 90 days. And he said, "No, I'm not going to be able to build $1 million company in 90 days. I'm going to build a $10 million company." He raised the stakes. He raised them so high that he knew he had to work. That he knew he had to work like hell. So he was given a shitty pickup truck and $100 and sent to this random town. And guess what? He was able to rise up and be able to start a marketing company and was able to sell it for $5 million in 90 days. 5 million in 90 days. And yeah, if you watch that series, you'll see that he's literally crying because he misses his family so much. That's so mentally exhausting. It's more mentally exhausting than physically exhausting because he knows he's put his reputation on the line. He's done all this. If he fails this, then it's going to be public. He could lose everything he's worked for. So he worked hard and was able to achieve an extraordinary success. And I think this is the exact same thing that Conor McGregor needs to do. Conor McGregor started off in crumbling Dublin, and he started off with nothing. He had to get unemployment checks in order to not starve. And now he's sleeping in silk sheets and driving Lamborghinis everywhere, living in mansions in luxury. And as a fighter, you can't live in luxury. There's a famous quote that's gone around about, I don't know if it's about Conor, but it's very relevant. It's very tough to wake up at 5 a.m. and do sprints in the rain when you're sleeping in silk sheets. So what Conor needs to do is he has to get away from all the luxury, get away from all of that, the extraordinary success and luxury goods that he has, all of his mansions, cars, even his family. He needs to just push them away if he wants to become successful in the UFC again. So I think he should just sleep in his gym. Just put a mattress in his gym and then just sleep there. So he works out for like 8 hours a day, then he goes to bed. So it's literally for like 6 months or a year or however long he'd have to dedicate to that. He literally, his entire life is focused on fighting. And that's it. That's it. It's quite simple, quite a simple idea, but I got this idea from watching that show, and it does make a lot of sense to me. You're putting him out of a comfort zone. You're taking a man from living in a mansion, living in multiple mansions, having a net worth of like $500 million, and putting him in a zone where money doesn't matter. Ego doesn't matter. So I think that is going to be very, very productive for him. I really don't think he'll do that. I think it's the end of his career, sadly. I would like if he could have this retirement fight and he does this exact strategy. I think we could see the old Conor back, because the old Conor was 100% focused on fighting. He wanted to reach the top. Conor was able to reach the top, so he rose up from his underground fights all the way to the UFC, fighting and fighting and fighting to win the double championships, beating Mendes, beating Aldo, beating all of these people. And he even went up to Floyd Mayweather level. And even though he lost, he still got 100 million. So, and he wasn't doing his sports. It's like he would have killed Mayweather in the octagon, but his ego went too up with Khabib. I don't like Khabib. Personally, I hate him, but he was a better fighter on that night. So we watched Conor's career go downwards. Rose up a bit with Cowboy. Now it's going down. I personally. So as a Conor McGregor fan, he's fallen, and I would really like to see him have one final go where he puts 100% effort into it and then gets to retire and live in luxury for the rest of his life. So that at least if anyone says, oh, Conor McGregor wasn't that good, he lost to Poirier twice, I was like, look there's his final fight where he absolutely decimated the guy. I would really like to see that. Probably not going to follow this, probably not going to see this, but might as well put this out here. If he does see it, hi Conor, I hope you the best in your fighting career.